Welcome to part 43 of my series of videos showing my romance novel collection. And this is, most of these books that you see here are books that I bought yesterday. Going to library used book sales and thrift stores. Most of these came from a local library where they have romance novels like 5 for $1. So, and then some of these I got a little like last week, but hadn't gotten around to showing them. So we're going to take a look at the books here. Now this book is Candlelight Romance number 636, part of the Candlelight Romance line that Dell Books published from 1967 to 1982. And I bought this yesterday. I was quite pleased. It was at a Salvation Army store. I paid 50 cents. It's not in the greatest condition. There's some little banged up on the corner here. But I rarely run across these Candlelight books in my travels. And one day I would like to get all of them. Although there's almost 500 of them. But this one is, I believe, from 1981. Let's take a look. February 1981 by Jean Hager. And we'll take a look at the back there. He was a famous Cherokee painter, and she was his greatest challenge. But when Tiana Van, granddaughter of an Indian elder, posed for Jordan Ridge, it was with a fierce resentment born of anger and fear. So it has a Native American background there. And of course, this was when Vivian Stevens was the editor of the line, and particularly interested in having more multicultural themes and authors in the line. All right, now this book is an Airmont books. I've written about Airmont books before on my blog, in my blog entry called A Guide to Category Romance Novels series, 1965 to 1989. And Kenneth R. Johnson, I believe, was the one who wrote this article that was talking about Airmont books. And they reissued, they started in the early 60s. I think they were, Thomas Borgie and Company they were the hardcover line, and then Airmont was sort of their paperback line. Let's see here. Let's see, it's Thomas Borgie. This says copyright 1972. But a lot of them, they started in the early 60s, and then they kept reprinting them over and over again and just changing the price on it. This one's $1.50. And you'll see it says R8. So I believe that stands for romance line number 8. So it's the 8th book in their romance line. And it doesn't look that fantastic, but it is an example of a sort of Harlequin-esque, book, sort of a romance novel, an old-fashioned romance novel of that time. So, and it looks like it's kind of a romantic suspense, too. Now, I did get a whole bunch of forever romances here. Here's the stack. And I got all these yesterday, 5 for $1. Now, I never had a forever romance before, I don't think. Maybe possibly one. But I didn't know that much about them. I knew that they were a line of religious books, or religious novels, inspirational novels, Christian fiction, romance. But in my blog entry that I wrote about them, I just had a little line where it said forever romances, and then it said see serenade, sonata, and promise romances, because those were also lines that were published in the 1980s, and apparently they reprinted some of these books as forever romances. So it's all a little bit confusing. As it turns out, I was mistaken in my blog. FictionDB, a website that indexes a lot of these things, FictionDB listed this line as Serenade Sonata. So that's how I listed it in my blog. Apparently, though, it was called Serenade Serenata. Serenata. So a lot of these books, and there were like 50 books in that line. Well, it turns out there was also a subsequent line, apparently, too. And we'll get to that in a moment. So these were all forever romances. And they say that they're published by Guideposts. So I believe that the Serenade ones came first. And then, it says forever romances. So it says an imprint of Guidepost Associates. So Guidepost was another religious publisher. Copyright 1984 by Zondervan. And it says this Guidepost edition is published by special arrangement with Zondervan. So I put them in numerical order in the stack according to, the way they appeared in Serenade Serenata, the Zondervan line. But unfortunately, these forever romances don't have numbers on them, unlike the Serenade Serenata books. So, you just have to guess, what order, unless you want to put them in alphabetical order or something. This one is very 80s looking. Love's Perfect Image. Like the Aruba size thing. And that's one of the cool things about these books is when they reflect their times. She was part owner of Body Images Health Club. Again, that's 1984. Call of the Dove. This is 1985. More Than a Summer's Love. And like I said, I just bought these yesterday, so I haven't really had too much of a chance to look through all these. Born to Be One by Cathy Lenoir. This one, Bethany is a 25-year-old playwright. Her first break in Los Angeles. Her play about the Apostle John will be a TV drama, starring well-known actor Aaron Steele. Bethany is immediately attracted to him. Can he play the earnest and devoted John? This has a cool-looking cover. Caroline. I'll set that there. Caroline Hammond's career with Valley Turf, a Silicon Valley computer company, means more to her than God, and even more to her than men and marriage. So this is sort of a early computer-related thing. You can see the home computer in the corner there. This is 1986. Her computer consultant. A New Love by Mab Graff Hoover. Another forever romance. (1986). Moonglow. This one looks interesting. Well, you can notice the space shuttles on the cover. My flight crew has both a civilian and a woman, all in one package. Shows her membership on the crew of the shuttle Discovery. It says, while training for one of the first shuttle flights since the 1986 Challenger tragedy, Dr. Sarah Christie and Judd McAllister launch a friendship, only to discover that God has a lot more in mind for their mission than they expected. So that's interesting. I had talked about before in a previous video about there's a Candlelight Ecstasy book that came out in 1986, shortly, I think it was shortly before or just after the Challenger explosion in 1986. And so this one looks like it came out after, unless they read and say this is copyright 1986, but unless they changed anything afterwards, you know, because of the tragedy. There's a thing about guideposts, guidepost customer service. And then finally here, this Forever Romance, Love is the Key. Now the interesting thing is when I looked this up on FictionDB, they didn't have an entry for it in the Serenada, aka Serenade Sonata, which they mistakenly list these books under. They don't have a listing for Forever Romances on FictionDB. But when you look this book up, it says it's published by Ivy Books, which is not, you know, not Guidepost or Zondervan. So when you look inside here, it says copyright 1988, published by special arrangement with Ballantine Books, a division of Random House. So this time it's not Zondervan. But the weird thing is that if you Google Love is the Key by Irene Brand, you'll see the Forever Romance version, you know, this cover. But you also see the Serenade Serenada thing. So instead of saying Forever Romances, it'll say Serenade Serenada. And then instead of having the regular number, it says T13. Now, FictionDB and Fantastic Fiction website both say that Serenada had 50 books, but this seems to indicate there were more than 50. You know, if there was these ones that came out in the late 80s, and like I said, maybe they started over the numbering. I don't know, but it is an indication that this is an area of romance novels that hasn't really been explored much. So it's, you know, there's more research is needed. So anyways, we're just going to go through more of these books here. This is a Harlequin Super Romance, book 528, Halfway Home. I didn't get this one yesterday. I got it a couple weeks ago at a different store. And I don't think I had shown it yet. So this is 1993. I got this also, like, I think it was last week for like 25 cents at a thrift store. Harlequin Desire from 2014, book 2334. I just got it because it looked cool. It was in nice condition and so forth. Now, some of these books, you know, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to keep or not. You know, these books right here were actually, oh, it wasn't these books. These ones I got, I believe I got these yesterday. But then there's some more Harlequin intrigues that I got out of a free box. So these ones are from 2020. There's just 3 of them there. Now these ones I got out of the free box. And there's a 4th one here. This was the free box at my local library. And they actually had more Harlequin intrigues, but I just grabbed these ones because the covers look cool. And these are pretty recent. These are February 2022. Also February 2022. This one I also saw yesterday at a thrift store for like 25 cents. But I didn't get it because I remembered I already had it. And March 2022. And finally, this Harlequin Romantic Suspense. This is actually July 2022, book 2188. You know, I've mentioned before that Harlequin Romantic Suspense used to be Silhouette Intimate Moments, you know, which started back in like 1983 or so. But pretty cool to get a brand new book. And I think this was at the library thing where they had 5 for $1 yesterday. So we're going to take a look at some more here. Now, a lot of the rest of these are historical romance novels. This one looked pretty cool, High Seas to High Society. And this is a Harlequin Historical Regency. So the Harlequin Historical line is a sort of second cover there. This is from 2008. So it looked pretty cool. This one is a silhouette book that collects, it's called Lakota Legacy, and it has 3 books, or 3 stories by Madeline Baker, Kathleen Eagle, and Ruth Wind. 3 brand new stories. And there's a thing here about Native American romance. And talking about that. And it has the bios of the 3 authors there. Now, I got this yesterday. This is an Avon romance line, I think from like 1985. Let's see. October 85. And I actually have this book already, but I didn't realize when I got it. But again, it's one of those things where if I have it already, I can just, put it up on eBay and, no harm done. And these are 2 zebra books. I think it's part of their hologram or lovegram line. Passion's Chains by Catherine Creel and Passion's Bold Fire by Rosalind Ossobrook. Both of these have a line through the back page edge, so I assume they all came from the same owner or the same source. This one's from 1991. And this one is from 1993. I'll show the back covers there. The back covers are very descriptive. So if you want to pause the video, you can always look at those. Here's 2 more. Satin Embraces by Julia Grice and Love and Fortune by, well, it's hard to read there because it's kind of covered up, by Charlotte McFerrin. This is one of those BMI books. Even just says Book Margins Incorporated. It's kind of scuffed off there. But we talked about book BMI before, but they would reprint these Dorchester books. This one's for 1994. And I believe this is probably originally like a love spell. And this is a Signet book. Here's the back cover. Like I said, just pause it if you want to read it. There's the first page. This one has some writing on there. It says 3/12/85 on the date. This book came out in 1984, November 84. This is a love spell book, Christmas Carol. Flora Spear. It's a time swept. It's a time travel romance. Bah humbug. That was what Carol Simmons said to the holidays. It's very thick. It's, how many pages is this? There's a lot of ads at the back. 439. So apparently she goes from Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. So it's a futuristic romance as well. There's a thing saying, dedicated to my readers. We who read or write in these subgenres of romance believe that true love is not confined to the limits of ordinary time or space. There's a book by Donna Fletcher, Taken by Storm. This is an Avon romance. This one has a little crease on it. It's from 2006. And we got some paranormal romance here. Melanie Jackson, Outsiders, a Wild Side romance. That's part of a series. Let's move that up closer so we can see. Night Season by Eileen Wilkes. And Night Fires by Karen Harbaugh. This is a love spell as well. Here's the back cover. Surrender to the magic. From 2003. There's a note from the author. Eileen Wilkes. I think there was another Eileen Wilkes book there too. This one actually has the receipt from Borders. Huh. There's a Berkeley sensation. I'll show the back cover there. There's the Borders sticker. And Night Fires. This is from Dell Books. Oh, there's a thing mentioning Mary Jo Putney, other romance writer. It's from 2003. Prologue. All right, we'll show some more here. All right, and then I got this a couple weeks ago at a, it was a Value World thrift store, I believe. In fact, I might have showed this in the video that I did a while back when I was looking inside a thrift store. So I bought this one, Helen Mcinnis, Horizon. She wrote a lot of suspense novels, so she's not really considered a romance writer, although some people of the time sort of considered her like romantic suspense. You know, so she was sort of lumped in by fans of the genre at the time, you know, when who were craving a little more romantic suspense. Copyright 1945. This has that red edge on it. This is published by Fawcett. And On Leaving Charleston by Alexandra Ripley. This is a Dell book from, I think, the 1980s. She wrote the sequel to Gone with the Wind, Scarlet, in the early 1990s, I think like 91. This one's from 1984. Historical. This one has a Doubleday sticker on it, which is kind of interesting. You know, Dell owning, Doubleday owning Dell. This is a Daniel Steele book that I got for free at a bookstore. They had outside a bunch of bins of free books. And most of them were not very good, but I thought I'd get this one. It's interesting. It has all these initials from previous readers of the book. Now this one is from 1999. All right, some more historical books here. Linda Francis Lee, Nightingale's Gate, and His Favorite Mistress, Tracy and Warren. So this one, I think they wrote a number on it. The original owner. There's the step back. Number 3, to indicate that this is the third book in the series. My Fair Mistress, The Accidental Mistress, and this is His Favorite Mistress. From 2007, published by Ballantine Books. There's the other books. Also from Borders Books, which is no longer around. Nightingale's Gate. This looks interesting. A gentleman killer is stalking prostitutes in the alleys of Boston. The police arrest Lucas Hawthorne, the notorious son of a prominent family and owner of the infamous club Nightingale's Gate. As the daughter of Boston's leading prosecutor, attorney Alice Kendall has followed the headlines, but she is not prepared when the accused walks into her office seeking counsel. Nor is she prepared for his seductive charm. Alice knows she should keep her distance from a man like Lucas, but she takes the case to trial, standing against her father for this mysterious man. Blah, blah, blah. It looks interesting. Here's the accused, Lucas. He looks like a dangerous individual, but of course we know he's not really the killer. This was an Amanda Quick book, that Surrender. I think this is an early one from like the early 90s. That's like 1990, I think. I bought this, I think, about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 1990. So this is shortly around the time she started. It might even be her first book. I don't know. He has a lot listed there, though. There's the back cover description. I got this yesterday, Mary Below, or Below, however her name is pronounced. I still have never gotten the hang of it. Seducing an Angel. This is from a Dell book, published in 2009. There's the first page. Another Borders one. I think a lot of these just came from the same person. We got two by Candace Camp. One of them has a 2 on there, so it indicates it's the second book in a series. Promise Me Tomorrow and A Summer Seduction. This one has a step back. There's the step back, and it's published by Mira, which is Harlequin's line for single title romances from the year 2000. This one has a Kmart sticker on the back. You know, it's like in the old days I would just tear off stickers, but these are so vintagey, plus they're kind of hard to tear off. I like the vintage stickers, so I tend to keep them now after all. This one's published by Pocket Books, Simon & Schuster. Here's the title page. And there's the copyright information, 2012. We have a Joanna Lindsay, The Present. This is a Christmas themed book. Mallory Holiday novel, 1998. Julia London, The Revenge of Lord Eberlin. That's a nice looking cover. From Pocket Books, 2012. This is the first page. And there's Julia London. And finally, of the historical books, we have The Secrets of a Scandalous Heiress by Theresa Romain and The Bargain Bride by Barbara Metzger. And there's the back covers. I particularly like the look of this one. This little sort of gaslit streets. And it is from 2015. Cover art by Robert Papp. And this one is a Signet Eclipse book from 2009. In memory of Edith Layton, a great writer, a better friend, who is a well-known historical romance writer. And then finally, I got a whole bunch of non-romance stuff here recently. This one I showed in one of my previous videos inside the thrift store when I bought it for like 25 cents. A Mustang Western. This is like a British publisher that wasn't very good, and this book is kind of falling apart actually. I'm going to need to get some Elmer's glue and start glue the pages back together. This is a Western from Ace Books. Just looks very cool and vintagey. I got this for 10 cents at a library last week or so. It's from 1973. The Sergeant, #1. First of a series, Death Train. Again, I got this for 10 cents. This is from Zebra Books from 1980. I got this one, The Musketeer's Apprentice, Sarah Del Media. This is actually Sarah Hoyt. From looking at this is a mystery novel that takes place in the world 2007 by Sarah Hoyt. Takes place in the world of Three Musketeers. And then finally yesterday I got these 2 books that were English ghost stories. I got these for like 50 cents each. Oxford Book of English Ghost Stories, just reprints a bunch of old English ghost stories. And this Sir Walter Scott's Rob Roy. I like how this sticker has the British price on it. There's the pound sign. Anyways, that's it. That's my haul. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.